Purpose.
Hello, welcome to Youth of Purpose, a show that is here to give you a platform majorly as young people to be able to talk about everything under the sun concerning our country, Uganda, but also other issues that concern us as the 77% of this population. We want to be able to look at everything that can empower us and help us to put a brick in making sure that Uganda becomes a better country. In the future to come, we want to say Uganda is because we are. My name is Ivan Tumkunde. Welcome to the show. Today we're going to be talking about something very interesting, but also very touching and should be given the attention that it needs as a continent, as Africa. And I understand with relevant examples from here in Uganda, we'll be able to identify with some of these issues, and I hope those that are concerned will be able to take action about it. We're going to be talking, creating awareness and alternative mission that's on irregular immigration. And we want to be able to see the issue of immigration and in as far as it's to do with Africa. But also when we talk about labor externalization, we've seen many of our young people live here to go to the Middle East for work. And some of the stories that we've been getting back, honestly, are not pleasing. And those are some of the issues that we want to be looking at. Some of the people to reach an extent to say, are we going back to slave trades where, Africans were treated that inhumanly? That's the discussion we want to be able to have. And with me, I have Olashubomi Aina, MBE. She'll be able to tell us what MBE stands for and many of the other things that she does. Welcome to Youth of Purpose. Kindly say hello to the viewer.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. And thank you so much, Ivan, for the opportunity I have to speak to Ugandans today on a very crucial matter.
Yes.
Of course.
Olashubomi, tell us about yourself.
My name is Olashubomi Iginla Aino. I'm first a Nigerian and also a British citizen. I am a member of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire by the grace of God. That's MBE. And
what does that mean?
Yes, I was given that. I was nominated by the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom to the late Our Royal Majesty, the late Queen of England, to become a member of the Most Excellent Order of the British Empire, because of my dedicated work with young people and the disadvantaged in Africa, as well as in the UK. So I was given that. It's a lifetime honor, and it's also an appointment that I do not take for granted, and I'm grateful to God for. And what else do you want to know? I'm also a director for the Global NGO Executive Committee, and that's the Global NGO Executive Committee, GNEC, is a body that helps to liaise between global NGOs and the United Nations Department for Global Communications. So we are the middleman between all the organizations associated with UNDGC. So we help them to understand the work of the UNDGC, and we help them to achieve the fullness of their potential. Yes, so, and we are 18 in the world. Of course, is a particular position that you can only achieve through election. So I put in for an election and then I won an election. It's a global election. So we are just 18 on the board that oversees these global NGOs.
Yes. When we talk about irregular migration, what are we talking about?
Irregular migration is suicidal. Let me start by saying that. It is a suicide mission. Don't try it. Don't never see it as a way forward. It is not the solution to the problem. Whatever kind of problem you're having, irrespective of the shapes, different shapes and sizes or colors it has, no matter how bad your problem is, as a young person or old person, do not consider migrating irregularly. It cuts short your life. It is very harmful. Even when you survive it, what about the psychological impact it has on your brain? I was telling Ivan earlier today, I said, when I got to Catalonia, I was given a scenario that, for example, if 1,000 young people leave Africa, the shores of Africa, eventually 300 makes it up to maybe the Western countries, European countries. 300 makes it up there successfully, in quote and unquote. Where are the remaining 700?
700, yes.
So that is a thing. It's just to let you know that the proportion now. The remaining 700 are either dead under the Mediterranean Sea, which is now called the African's graveyard. And some of them die in the desert. So why do you want to lose your life to gain life? What exactly are we looking for? We say greener pastures. We say better life. Is better life losing life? This is not adding up. There is something wrong. We understand that there are lesser opportunities here on our shores. But we also believe that the strength of Africa is in the youth, the young people. So if these young people continue to leave the shores of Africa only to be wasted under the Mediterranean Sea, yes, how does that bring solution to the problem of Africa?
First of all, how do we get here? Irregular migration. Africa, a continent that is looked at to have everything. Why do we have our people to go die in the desert, go die in the Mediterranean Sea? What has happened? Why do we have this rampant irregular migration?
Yeah, I like that question because it leads me to the CAA mission. The CAA mission is a project that we have designed in Light Up Foundation, and it's called Creating. The C is for creating, the next A is for awareness, and the second A is for alternative. Creating awareness and alternative mission to irregular migration. A lot of things are responsible for people migrating irregularly. Some are migrating irregularly because there is no peace, there is war, drums of war everywhere now, as we can hear. Some are migrating because they feel that they are not secured in the place where they are. Some are migrating because they feel that there are lesser opportunities, and of course they are hearing stories of some of their friends flaunting all manner of pictures on the social media. I'm in America, I have a new car now, I just arrived 3 months ago, now I have my own house. Please, don't discontinue that trend. Stop following social media that will make you feel depressed about your circumstance. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are unique in your own way, and your time is different from other people's time. Do not follow other people's time, because you don't even know if the person that is flaunting all that is a liar. Okay. And usually it's that way. People who have it don't usually flaunt it. People who don't have it that you see
people who are well will not so much come out to actually tell.
Yes, just like they say that.
Me to the example that I'm certain many young people will be able to relate to. For example, you have an OB that traveled abroad to work, and because they are stuck there and they don't have what to do, they create that impression that they are living a better life, and convince the young people here actually to send them money that they are going to get them jobs. So actually, much of the irregular migration we are having is by Africans to other Africans. Someone there tells you, I'm going to get you a job, I'm going to get you where to stay. You send them money. Actually, they help you to travel, but you cannot be able to travel legally. They will create other means. It's like a cone that they use. And you travel irregularly. When you get there, definitely you don't have a job, you don't have where to stay. And that's why you will be finding young girls being used in prostitution and all that. So it's Africans against the Africans themselves, and painting that picture that you're talking about, the greener pastures. A young person here who is having his motorcycle, riding, he sells it. Instead of making his 30,000 a day here in Uganda, they sell the motorbike to go and travel irregularly. They sell land back in the villages where they can be able to do agriculture and earn a living. They sell that land to go abroad. And
even parents support them. Parents sell their lands to give their children money to go and pay these evil agents. There are some agents that are around Africa, and they are everywhere trying to make money, exploiting our young people, telling them all manner of lies that if you get to America today, you start working today. There are a lot of people in America that are looking for jobs. There are a lot of people in Britain that are looking for jobs. There is problem everywhere in the world, but it just varies, and it is in different forms and different sizes. So do not allow anybody to lie to you. There is, you see, the end of the journey of irregular migration is not palatable. I say this because I have spoken to a lot of victims of irregular migration. I was in Catalonia, and I was invited by the Catalonian government to come and witness the signing of agreements between the Catalonian government and UNICEF. There I met the Minister for Health, Minister for Social Justice in Catalonia, and the President of UNICEF. And the document that they were signing, I was shocked. It entailed that they were going to be ready to take care of our own black young people who finally made it up onto their shores, who unfortunately are developing post-traumatic stress disorder and all manner of mental illnesses. I give you another scenario. 300 finally arrives in Catalonia, for example. Maybe 280 has developed post-traumatic stress disorder, and maybe 20 escaped. Not entirely escaped, because there will still be a playback in the future of all those, because the journey is a bad one. In fact, one of the young people had to tell me from Gambia, he said that he faced near-death experience 23 times. Tell me how that guy will ever be normal again, because he will continue to have flashbacks psychologically. So they are not even able to achieve the fullness of their potential in life anymore. So what is the reason for all this? Now, at the end of the day, I was in that gathering. I was the only black person there. Do you barb a man's hair in his absence? No. Where are our African leaders? I was concerned that day. I was like, I felt privileged that at least I was in Catalonia at the time that this meeting was holding, and I was invited there. This was how I found myself involved in the issue of irregular migration after being taken to the residence where these young people are. Catalonian government, for example, told me that they have over 650 centers where they keep our boys.
Wow. Doing what? What do they do?
That traveled irregularly. They are helping. They are taking care of them, because they have to take care of them. So after a while, they will begin to deport them back to their various countries. And on daily basis, the numbers keep increasing. Let me shock you. As I'm speaking to you, some of them are dying. Not in Catalonia, but the ones who are on their way to various countries, traveling irregularly.
Yes. Okay, we go in for a short break. When we come back, we want to be able to look at who is responsible, and if they are responsible, why are they not taking action and helping to save the lives of Africans? Is this situation unique to Africa, or it's all over the world? If it is actually unique to Africa, why and what can be done to save the day? We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're still watching Youth of Purpose. My name is Ivan Konde, and today we're talking the issue of irregular migration in Africa. How does it affect us, and what do we lose as Africans? That's what we're having here, and you can be able to be part of this conversation. Get onto our social media platforms at Youth of Purpose on Facebook, Youth of Purpose on Twitter, and tell us your story. Share with us in as far as this topic is concerned. I'm still with Aina, and she's telling us basically on what can we be able to do, but also painting a picture. She has been exposed to this issue, and she elaborately can be able to help us to see what we can be able to do as Africans to solve this issue. But also as a young person out there, what can you be able to do such that you don't fall victim of this? Is this situation unique to Africa?
Of course not. There are other races that are involved in regular migration, but there is the population of Africans that are actually practicing irregular migration is really skyrocketing on daily basis. And it is so sad. I give you an example. There was a policy made by the UK government recently, and it was meant to deter people from traveling. They would ban them from ever being able to travel to the UK if you are found traveling irregularly, and some other laws like that.
To the worst on that, even those that are already there, they are planning to take them to Rwanda.
To Rwanda. Now, that is a policy that the government feels that, okay, let's do this, perhaps things will work. But all hands must be on deck. We are looking at things from the humanitarian angle. It is good to have tougher punishment to deter people from engaging in suicide acts. It is good for government to enact policies that they feel that will help them protect their border. But is that the solution? Do you know after that, there was a lot of irregular migration after that policy was made in the UK? So does that mean that it has solved that problem? No. So we are saying that all hands must be on deck. The non-governmental organizations must now come together. We must now make it a point of duty to create awareness. Look, there is something going on. There are agents within our cities and our countries. Their voices are louder than the voices of those people who know the right thing. You know, when people who don't know the right thing have their voices everywhere, people would follow them. And when people who know the right thing keep quiet, then they become killers. We don't want you to be killers. We want you to be an advocate against irregular migration. And that's the reason why we are here today, saying to you that, look, this is one of the solutions to this problem. We need to shout and continue to make it an anthem such that even a 2-year-old girl will be able to say irregular migration is not a solution. That way, everybody would know. So anybody, one agent will not just come from anywhere and just mess up your life and give you all manner of lies that does not exist in the name of taking you away from your parents. And guess what? Even a lot of mothers and fathers are selling their lands to support their children to pay these agents. We want our voices to be louder than the voices of these evil agents. They are there and they have big names behind them, shouting and trying to make money from you. Don't go with them. It only ends to one thing: destruction. We are happy doing this, and I thank God for somebody like Ivan. Ivan, I believe that you will do more of this, and I believe you've been doing some before today. We need more people like Ivan to be able to go out and start making noise, sensible noise with evidence. We've got evidence of this destruction going on in Africa. We cannot afford to continue to lose our young people at this rate.
Losing the young people right there. You know, when we don't paint a picture actually of why this is bad, someone will not understand the extreme of this. We're talking about the numbers. 1,000 young people living and only 300 get to arrive there. Either the 700 have died in the sea or in the desert, like you said. So leaving out only even those who die. For example, we use the example here in Uganda. You have young people that have gone through primary education, taught, for example, by government. We are spending money. Gone through secondary, paid, for example, by government, spending money. At university, some of them by government, paying money. But even if you have paid for yourself throughout, we are spending money. And you imagine someone who has gotten a bachelor's, living here to go and work as a maid. You have done software engineering.
Well equipped.
You have spent over 20 something years in school. And you leave to go and do the work of a maid. Wash dishes, clean, and that's it. So the intellect, the skill that we have imparted in someone for 20 years is just wasted like that. Because you're not going to practice
put it to use.
You cannot. And there are very, very, very few that are taken on an intellectual basis. They are not. So we are losing as a country on the intellect, on the skills, and the knowledge that we have imparted in those young people. But also looking at all those numbers that are leaving our country, we are losing. The question is, to help someone who is watching, what do we lose as the continent, as the African continent, by losing these young people who go to work abroad and they are not practicing actually they should be?
We are losing everything. We are losing a lot. You see, the youth of Africa is the strength of Africa. The youth of Africa is the future of Africa. We are losing the future of Africa. Well, bad enough, we understand that there is corruption everywhere. And I want to use this opportunity to call the attention of the government, not only Uganda government, our African government. One of the problems and one of the major issues that is making our young people run away from this show is lack of opportunities. We are currently conducting a detailed research work with the Catalonian government with these irregular migrant victims to see how we can actually take this forward and solve this problem, truly. And I'm telling you, what we are hearing are not, it's just the same song from different interviews we have had, that there is no opportunity in Africa. We can create opportunities. We can do it. We want our government to begin to look at this now. The government is not for your pocket. Please, there are so many governments of Africa that has borrowed the money that the next generation would spend has been spent already. Sure. So the next generation is coming to pay pay interest and pay the loan that generations that they know nothing about has put them in. The next generation has been enslaved by generations before them. We don't want this pattern to continue. Even if we feel that other continents are exploiting us, is it now good for us to exploit ourselves? Let's begin to look inward and see how we can begin to become more responsible government, responsible to the development of the young people, responsible and committed to the upbringing of the future of Africa. Because if we lose them, then there is no future for Africa. So we need to look in this direction. We also need to acknowledge, even while we are pointing and giving fingers and saying that some governments are not doing this and not doing that, we also need to acknowledge some governments that are being responsible in a way or with their policies. I give you an example of the Uganda government. I have heard that from the 1990s, perhaps maybe I'm wrong, that there have been policies within Uganda that has accommodated refugees from different African countries. That is laudable. And I was also made to understand with my conversation with one of the special advisors to the president that Uganda is in the front when it comes to countries in Africa that has been accommodating refugees. This is one of the policies that has served as a deterrent for irregular migration. What the government of Uganda is doing, you may not understand the nitty-gritty. I tell you from the angle of irregular migration, you have been able to save millions from traveling irregularly by accommodating them. And kudos to the government for doing this. I don't know which particular government enacted the policy, but I must say that for this present government to still be carrying that policy as a baby and nurturing it, kudos to you. Please continue to do the good job, because you are one of the people, one of the government that is helping to resuscitate Africa. You may not know what you are doing. What you are doing, we are happy as CAA Mission to acknowledge this work.
And actually for me, not only the government, I appreciate the government for doing that, but also I want to appreciate all the Ugandans, because it's the people that actually accommodate.
Dates, absolutely.
You can have the people in here and the population becomes hostile. These people come. First of all, some of them will not have specific places to stay.
Excellent.
So they share the food from the communities where the people are. Some are actually given space where they can be able to cultivate and grow a few of the vegetables, the food that they do eat. So they are accommodated majorly by the people. So I do thank really the Ugandan people for doing an excellent
You have
job.
spoken excellently well. Yes, there's this saying in the Word of God. I am a Christian by the grace of God. It says anointing flows from the head. You see, when you see leadership that have a particular mindset, you will notice that their people are like their leaders. So the only thing those people can produce is the kind of leaders that they are in the first place. So I must thank you. Thank you very much for calling my attention to this. Ugandans, you are doing a great job for accommodating
and one
us.
More thing is, you know, we talked about the issues because the solution is about the root cause. If you don't understand the root cause of irregular migration, you're not going to solve it. The solution is not us actually just accommodating refugees, because we are treating the symptom, not the disease. I also appreciate that the Ugandan government is trying actually to solve the problem, the root cause, which is, for example, about the wars you're talking about. The Ugandan government is right now in Congo trying to bring about peace. The Ugandan government is in Somalia trying to bring about peace. The Ugandan government, the army was previously in South Sudan, same time to bring about peace. So we've been in different places all over the country, and that's the mission, to make sure that the whole of Africa is peaceful. That's the step number one. Because we are looking at the issue of the security wars, therefore people cannot be able to stay. they migrate to go and look for peace. Another one is people are looking for jobs. Why? Because there is no development. But then when there is peace, there cannot be development where there is no peace.
Absolutely.
When there is development, people are able to set up companies,
Business, and
yes,
to thrive.
manufacturing companies and all that, do business, and then there are jobs to provide. And therefore, people will have what to do, earn a living, and they will not need to go somewhere to look for the greener
Better
pastures.
life.
You're solving the problem. So I think as we look for the solution, we need to look at the root cause of all these problems, and as you said, all hands on deck, see how to all around bring about the solution.
Another thing that struck me as you were speaking is the mindset. You see, we need to have our young people's mindset renewed. And I think that the government should get involved in this renewal of mindset right from primary school. We need to start teaching our young people to let them understand who they are. It all starts from the mind. Whatever you can think, you can be. If you cannot think it, forget it. You cannot be it.
Thank you so much for speaking to us, and I do believe today's episode has touched you. If it has not, please, you need to go and pray about yourself. But I do believe it has opened up your mind in as far as empowering ourselves as Africans is concerned. And that's why you see, Youth of Purpose, we are moving places. Not just about having people from here in Uganda, but anyone who has Africa at heart. This platform is for you, and we'll be able to empower ourselves as Africans. I do believe each one of us coming together to put a solution, put a brick in making sure that we solve this issue, it will be solved. I thank you so much for watching this show. My name is Ivan Tumukonde. See you next time.
Youth of Purpose.